Hello everybody, today we're doing a video for GTA car kits in a 2013 Mercedes SL, and today we're going to show you how to install our Apple CarPlay and Android Auto kit. As you can see, it's already installed into this car. It's been paired to iPhone wirelessly. You can also pair it to your Android phone wirelessly. The entire system gets controlled with the original Mercedes controls. The original Mercedes system will still stay functioning the same way. The original cameras will still work, and you can easily switch back and forth by holding the back button. The system works to the original Bluetooth, so the sound quality is great, nothing gets compromised there. And now we're going to show you how to install it in this particular car. So the tools you're going to need is a T20 Torx screwdriver. This is also a T20 but on a small ratchet. This is our panel removal tool, and this is the hook tool, and of course you're going to need our product. We're going to start on the driver's side, so we have to remove these side panels on both driver and passenger side, but we'll start on the driver's side. So you're going to use your panel removal tool here, right in the middle, to undo the clips, and then we're going to move to the back and show you what we're going to do there. So over here behind the driver's seat, we're going to open up this compartment. There's a few more clips, and then you have to bend the panel out because there's this type of hook here, and we're just going to leave it hanging. So now we're back on the inside, and we're just going to grab this panel and move it towards the back of the car because all the clips are facing forward. And over here you're going to have to separate the surround around the steering wheel column, and this is going to be loose. We're going to loosen it right now. This way, when we're removing all of this, it's not in the way. And at this point we can now remove this panel. So now, before moving to the passenger side, we're going to remove these 4 bolts on the driver's side. So there's 1, 2, 3, and there's a 4th one here to the side which holds this small bracket. So we're going to start with that one. And then you can just use your fingers or use the thing to remove this bracket. Now we're going to remove the rest of the bolts. Now we're on the passenger side, so we're going to do the same thing. We're just going to grab it with our fingers, unlock the clips, and now we're going to move to the back. So on the passenger side behind the seat, we're going to pop up this panel, and then here same thing. You're going to unlock the clips, bend this panel, and leave it hanging like this. So now we're going to continue here. We're going to grab the entire panel and pull it towards the back of the car. Now we can remove it. So same thing here on the passenger side, the 4 bolts, so 1, 2, 3, and 4. And over here, this one to the side is a bracket, same as the driver's side. Now we can remove the bracket. So now we can remove this entire trim around the stereo along with these climate controls. So you're just gonna unclip it on both passenger and the driver's side. You gotta kind of work it around. There you go. And then careful, you're gonna tilt it out, and we're gonna start disconnecting things. So over here, we're gonna open our cup holder, and over here there's 3 connections that we need to disconnect. So there's 1, 2, and 3. They have these sliding clips, and also we need to disconnect the connections here. So we're going to start with those. Those ones are holding us back right now. So you just press on the side clips and disconnect them. And then the top one. And we're going to disconnect these 3. So these are the sliding clips. You press on them, slide them open. And then the 3rd one, you have to press it. And now you can remove this entire panel. Now there are 2 bolts that hold the locks for the stereo. So there's one right here and one down there. And they just need to be loosened, and you're not going to remove them all the way out. And I'm going to show you. So if you loosened it enough, as you can see, the bracket starts moving. That means it's enough. So we're going to do the same on the driver's side. And again, this one is loose enough. So at this point, the radio can just come out, but we're going to continue with removing more stuff, and we're going to drop the glove box because behind the glove box, we're going to hide our module. So first thing you're going to remove is these 2 bolts. There's 1 and 2. Again, they're the T20. So now with the glove box open, there are 3 more bolts inside, and this is where we're going to use our short ratchet because the long screwdriver is not going to fit. So there's 1 here, one over here, and then one right in the corner right there. So we're gonna first do the two inner bolts, and then the one on the outside. So now we're under the glove box, and there's two bolts that we need to remove. There's one right here and one over here, and then we're gonna drop a panel, and there's one more hiding behind it. So we're gonna first do these two. Now you can use your panel removal tool. Right here in the middle there's a clip. You're gonna unclip it and move it down, and over here you're gonna see one more bolt. It's right there, and it's a thicker bolt. You're gonna see that when you remove it, it's different from all the other ones you removed earlier, so make sure just to put it back in its right spot. As you can see, it has a more thicker thread. Over here there's one more bolt hiding, so we're gonna use our panel removal tool to remove this side panel, and here you're gonna see there's a bolt. And at this point, with everything unscrewed, we can drop down the glove box. Gonna carefully wiggle it down and carefully put it down. So now we're gonna show you everything that comes in the kit and everything we're gonna be installing. So we have our main module, which we're gonna hide above the glove box. We have our video cable that gets connected behind the stereo and into our module. This is our wireless antenna. And this is our main quad lock harness, which we're going to connect to the back of the head unit and then to our module. And this is a USB cable, which is used for updates, and it's also used for wired CarPlay and wired AndroidAuto. So now we're going to remove the head unit to start connecting everything. So we already unscrewed everything earlier, so now we can just pull it out. Once you get it to this amount out, you're going to find that there's a cable here on the side. That's that little white cable. So we're gonna press the clip on top of it, and we will disconnect it. So now the radio can come out all the way out, and over here at the back we're gonna see this is our main quad lock harness, which we need to disconnect, and we're gonna disconnect it right away. There's a clip at the bottom here that you have to squeeze together, and then you can unlock the quad lock. So the clip is right here. So now we need to remove the original video cable. So you have a gray one and a pink one. We're going to be connecting to the gray one, so make sure to remove the gray one. We're going to press the clip at the bottom here, use our tool, and disconnect it. This is the video cable that came with our kit. So the single end will go into our module, and this double end with a male and a female will be at the back of the stereo. So we'll plug in the original gray wire into the female end, and then this will go at the back of the head unit. Now we can grab the single end, and we're gonna feed it through behind the head unit. And there's a metal bracket here that you need to come around, and then you can pull the wire through and have it above the glove box. So this is the original quad lock harness, and as you can see here, this is our fiber optic cable, and we need to transfer over to our harness. So we're gonna use our hook tool, and over here there's this small little clip which you need to lift up and release this cable, and we're gonna grab the harness that came with our kit. It has a male and a female end, so we'll plug in the original one into our harness. Make sure that the lock is unlocked and you insert it almost all the way in, and then you lock it in place so it goes all the way in. And then we'll grab our male end, which will go to the head unit, and we'll plug in our fiber optic cable. So it just has to go on the outer spot here. Just plug it in, and again, with the lock unlocked, we're gonna connect it to the back of the head unit. There you go. Once it's inserted almost all the way in, that's when you lock it in place. This is the other end of our harness, and we're gonna do the same thing we did with the video cable. We're just gonna bring it around so we can bring it to the top of the glove box here. So now with everything connected at the back of the head unit, we can start putting it back. So first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna put these locks back. So this is the passenger side lock. So there's this clip. You're supposed to unlock it in this position, and when you're inserting the head unit back in place, same on the passenger side. Now when we're putting everything back, make sure that this quad lock harness, there's not too much space here, but there's space right there towards the driver's side, and we can actually put the entire quad lock there so it's out of the way. And that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna bring the stereo a little bit closer, and then we're gonna grab the quad lock. We're gonna push it towards the driver's side opening here. And you can see the actual quad lock harness. You can actually see it from here. So it's out of the way from the head unit. And now we're carefully going to be inserting our head unit back. And once we have it halfway, make sure not to forget to reconnect this small white connector here on the side. And now we can push the radio all the way in and leave it like that. So this is our module, and we're going to start doing all the connections into it. So first we'll connect our video cable. Now we'll connect the harnesses. Make sure to connect both of them, the big one and the small one. And then we have left the USB cable and the wireless antenna. So the USB cable just plugs in here, and the wireless antenna. So the wireless antenna, you can make sure not to stick it to the actual module, but you can hide it behind. You can just mount it on top of the glove box. And the USB cable, we're gonna hide it underneath the glove box in the passenger footwell compartment, but you can, if you want, you can put it inside the glove box. There's a blocking piece right here. It's like a little vent that you can pop out and put it through there or make a hole. It's up to you. But once you made those connections, we're gonna start hiding the module. So we're gonna hide the module all the way over there. It's a good spot for it, and it's not gonna move around. So when you're hiding the module, make sure that you don't adjust these switches by mistake. The module would come preset for your car. So we will carefully start putting it in there, so it's not in the way of the glove box when the glove box is going in. And you're gonna maneuver all these wires. You also don't wanna block this guide clip right here, because that's where the glove box goes in. And we're gonna hide the wires around there. So just take your time. We're gonna nicely rearrange the wires now. So the module is inserted all the way down there. As you can see, we hit the wires too, so nothing is blocking here. So we put the wireless antenna here, and the USB cable will be coming out of this area right there. So carefully start putting the glove box back. Gonna make sure that it lines up everywhere. And as you can see, it clipped in on top, and the bolt holes line up. And then we have our USB right here. So we're gonna secure the glove box with this bolt down here. We'll also put this panel back. Right now it clips in the middle. We're actually gonna put the two bolts right away. Before assembling everything back, we're gonna test everything. So in order to test, we need to connect our ignition switch here. So the white one goes on top, and then the black one. And you carefully rest this panel here. It'll be good enough to test everything. So with the ignition on, you're gonna make sure that you select the Bluetooth sound source, and the phone that you're gonna be using with our kit needs to be connected to the original car via Bluetooth. That's how you're gonna get sound out of CarPlay or AndroidAuto. So first we're gonna connect it by the wire just for testing to make sure that it charges. And you can do wireless later on. We're gonna set it up. But first we're testing like this. So as you can see, CarPlay is up on the screen. You're gonna check that everything moves through the menu. You're gonna press and hold the back button to switch to the original Mercedes system. So everything works here. You're gonna test audio. Once you tested everything, now we can safely assemble everything back. We're going to reassemble inside the glove box first. We already assembled the bottom. Now just inside. And don't forget there's one more bolt on the side here. And now we can put this piece back, so make sure to insert it first with these two clips. and then just clip it in place. There are 2 more bolts here. Also at this point, don't forget that you need to tighten the bolts that hold the head unit in place, the two locks over there. There's one. We're gonna do the one on the driver's side also. These are the connections behind the climate control. So you insert them and then lock them in place. Lock them with the sliding clips. And then this small connection here needs to be still plugged in. And now the 3 connections behind the ignition here. So now we are putting this entire panel back. So first you insert it at the bottom, so the holes for the bolts almost line up. And then you have to bend it on top over here, especially where the ignition switch is, in order to position everything in, and then it goes back in its place. You just clip it in around the head unit. So here on the side we need to reinstall the original bracket here and the 3 bolts. Now on the driver's side, the bracket, so over here we're gonna start with the side panels. So first you need to clip them in at the front, and then we're gonna do the back. So here also, if you're doing the same thing with the USB cable, make sure not to hide it behind. And we're gonna line everything up and clip this back in. Now at the back you have to slide the clip in, clip everything in, and then we're gonna replace this cover. And over here in the middle, kind of hug this around so it all goes back in place. So now we're doing the driver's side. So over here, make sure that these are loose, so we can line up the clips here and clip it in. And now we'll do the bottom of the trim around the steering wheel. Now the top. Everything is clipped in. And now we're gonna move at the back. At the back here, same thing as the passenger side. Slide it in and clip it all in, and then close this compartment. And the last part is to clip everything here in the middle. So at this point the installation has been completed. We paired our iPhone wirelessly to the system, and now you can enjoy Apple CarPlay and Android Auto in your Mercedes SL. I hope you liked the video, and we'll see you next time.